If I lose it all. Solo, what's going on here? Solo, what the fuck?
I remember when Leon called me when he had the idea for the film. I was the first person he called about the idea. He called me and he was like, "Hey man, I'm tired. I'm tired." I was like, "Why are you tired?" He's like, "I'm tired of just waiting, for people to tell us whether we were good enough to tell our stories or to get funding or anything. He's tired of waiting or relying on people that are higher up to tell us whether or not our stories or us are good enough." So he just said, "You know what? I'm gonna write my own thing, yeah, and I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna film it. I'm gonna get a crew together and I'm gonna film it." I was like, "Cool. What's your idea, bro?" "I got this horror film idea." I said, "Horror?" And he said, "Majority of the cast, black, cast and crew." I said, "Cool."
And come on.
Call me Travis Scott, because I'm in the Scots land.
No lie. You got Ken. You got man like K. Man like K, Big Ken. Man like Cash. Man like Lads. Hey. Man like Toby. So we got business, man's got business, cat got business. Rabbi told me today, I told her stop it, you ain't my babe. I'm chilling with bro on the block, we're making it back, we're making the cash. We're flipping the packs. I told broski, no lie. No lie. So no lie. No lie.
Hey.
And my name is Braulio Chimbembe, and I play Ken, aka Big Ken. So this story is about 6 youths who go on a residential type trip, and they go out to the Scottish Highlands, and they get a bit too curious, and they start finding things that they're not specifically looking for. And in this journey, we discover a lot about the characters, and we discover a lot about them as people.
My name is Joshua Griffin, and I play Stuart in the film. It's the experience of these group of men, boys really, who are part of this program and taken up to Scotland, essentially to experience something different to what they're used to, rather than sort of existing in this very small universe in London, and sort of going with what they're like, the sort of the stereotype of what they're expected to become in the future.
My name is Harrison Daniels and I play Ade. Ade is a youth worker who has not benefited from having a positive male role model, and as such has made a number of different mistakes over the course of his life. And I think he looks to the community that he lives in, sees as a real lack of positive male role models, and wants to be the change. I think one of the beauties of this short film is that it takes a group of young black men from London, and we start to see them in a slightly different environment, which is typically not part of the paradigm that we see in a lot of black filmmaking these days. A large part of it tends to be about survival on the estates, and conflict with other young people, or other young adults who equally haven't necessarily had the best in terms of life choices kind of given to them and chances to kind of move forward. This is completely different. This is really about how, as a group, you can see the growth and development of young people bonding and moving forward as a collective. as a collective, definitely.
I'm Edmund C. Short, and I play Mingus, who is the guide of the local area that the lads come to stay with. I know that Leon, the writer and director, wanted to step away from the stereotypes of black youth culture and write something completely different in a different genre. And he's done just that with this horror film. It becomes a bit of a coming-of-age film where we see how the lads are responding to this new environment for the first time. And just seeing how their relationships expand and how they deal with everything that's going on, all these different senses together, really.
My name is Toby Kingbakari, and I play the character Elijah. One of the reasons why I think the project is really special is because it's not like your usual like London youngster film. Like when you look at the majority of young London films in the media, you see the sort of same recycled narrative of, you know, knife crime and drugs and all that stuff. And I think that stuff is valid because it's real, but I feel like it's a bit recycled. It's not creative. It's not progressive as well. I feel like projects like this that show a real London experience with youngsters who don't get a chance to go out into the countryside and experience that. That's a real London experience, even for me. I think showing narratives like that is helpful and it's fun. You know what I mean? It's different.
Hi, yeah, guys. My name's Abdul, and I play the role of Toby. Bro, when this one comes out, it's gonna be different. Like, I'm telling you, this one here, it's gonna shock a couple hearts. This one here is gonna be crazy. Yeah? What Leon and the crew have done for this one, this one's gonna be mad. You get me? Mad. Let me just move on. First of all, we went to Inverness. I think it was Inverness in Scotland to shoot this. In the middle of nowhere. And I mean that. Like, in the middle of nowhere, there was barely any social life. We went there. The only social life was Diz, bro. I was talking to Diz through my window and that. The trees. Like, bro, I've never been in this type of atmosphere in my life. Like, first of all, I actually felt like I was in a haunted house because the pictures that were on the wall was kind of crazy. Like, I went to the bathroom and there was a flipping raccoon type of picture while I was peeing, and I was like, oh, what's going on in here? He's like, Leon wants to sacrifice us or something. Like, I felt like I was in a movie.
My name's Shadak Mwini, and I play the character of Kashif. With the movie that we're doing, it's not your typical on ends movie, but it's got the same faces. So us as actors, some of us haven't been out of the ends, and we're going out of the ends first time to shoot this movie. So it's really beautiful.
Is that Cash, yeah?
That's Cash, man.
Hey.
Do that, like,
Hey.
bro, I just did that. What do you mean?
You didn't even balance the right thing.
Aye.
You want to reset it and do it again?
Yeah, do the whole thing.
Alright.
Hey.
Whoa, what's going on here?
My name's Enrique and I'm 21 years old. I'm a bricklayer and I'm a part-time actor. So today I'm here to talk to you guys about our new short film. Still haven't decided what the name is yet, but it is what it is. We'll come out with one sooner or later. Anywho, my character in this short film, obviously, he's quite funny, bubbly, and loving, caring. Me in real life, I'm a loving person as well. I'm quite funny, as I like to say. I'm not too whatever it's called, but I am funny to get in that, and I can vouch for that because there's people there that see me that are doing funny things to get it. So yeah, I am funny. Keep that in mind.
Hi, my name is Vivian Mello. I'm a London-based makeup artist. For this short film, I was in charge of hair and makeup for all cast members. The reason why I was really excited to do this short film was I wanted to work with a director that focused so much on telling stories about the Black experience, and this particular short film was really interesting because it wasn't a horror based on Black trauma. It was just following this group of boys from London, and it was their first time coming to Scotland, and it was a lot about my experience coming into this project. I've never been to Scotland, and I was really excited to work with a fully diverse team, a team that had similar upbringing to me.
Actually tastes good. No, I did not do that. Listen. You've not tried it. You better go. Here. Try it. Genuine.
Nah, bro, that's crazy.
Pioneer it.
I remember after getting cast for the role, I was really like, oh, okay. My instant thought was, okay, I've got to learn an accent or work on a London accent. And I remember we had this really useful first meeting / first read through of the script together in a room. And I was really anxious, and I was reading the script and I was like, oh gosh, like I've not worked on the accent, so I'm just going to do my accent for now, and then I'll tell them that I'm going to work on it. And I remember the first question I asked, I was really like, ooh, about it, like really, oh god, I just did a terrible job, and now I have to like, yeah. And I remember asking whether they wanted me to do a London accent or keep my own, and because I was like, well, of course it's got to be a London accent because everyone else has got one, you know, and they're slightly different, but surely I need to have that accent. And it wasn't even a London accent, it was more, I think in my head something stereotypical was sitting there. And Leon was saying that it's important that I don't have that accent because you need to show that there's many faces and many people belonging to the Black and mixed race community. That's not just what people expect, or even that. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, wow, okay. I actually feel really positively validated in the sense that I can use my voice as it is and not feel self-conscious about it, which was a new thing for me.
Hi, my name is Hazel Dier, and I was the sound recordist for this project. Upon speaking to Leon and Emma and Will the DOP, just hearing their attitude on how they wanted to run the set and achieve the recording of this film was so refreshing and different. I'm so used to having to deal with the hierarchy and everyone's got their place and it's more of a dictatorship when you're on set. But instantly from the get-go, Leon was all about expression and understanding that being the best bit about being a leader is understanding that your team can also have just as good suggestions, knowing your strengths and weaknesses. Not even so much your strengths and weaknesses, but just understanding other people have strengths too and allowing them space to have the platform to express that. That was his ethos from the get-go, and I really appreciate that. I fully believe in that as well. Hearing that it was going to be a majority Black cast and crew was so exciting for me. I loved it. Do it again in a heartbeat. Will always make time and space in my life to be in that environment. It was vibrant and powerful and food for the soul. Having the peace to just be able to laugh as loud as you want, sing and dance as loud as you want, and just be around that and not be scolded or judged or anything. Everyone just understands. We all just get it. We get our culture.
Oh, no.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Musa Innes. I work in the costume and wardrobe department, and I did so for this film, this project, this experience that we all were blessed to have. For me, when I first heard about the film, it was through Leon, and he was telling me he's got an idea about doing a horror film, which I'd never worked on. And he wanted to do it in Scotland. So I think when I first heard all of this, I was like, oh, like this is gonna be sick. Like that's a sick idea. It'll be a sick experience to go to do a film outside of London. Because for me personally, I never worked on a horror film and I never worked on a film outside of London. After speaking to Samuel, he's one of the actors, Emma, the producer, Leon multiple times about the idea and how he wants to execute it and how I can help costume-wise, how we can make it possible, make it achievable. I think after a few of the conversations, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a big task. Like, I think what didn't help was before I got onto this job, I was kind of doubting my career as in the costume and wardrobe department. Wasn't sure if it's something I should continue, but definitely after this experience, I think speaking to Leon first, he was like, you know, like it's something you can do. I believe in you, and we're gonna make this happen. And I think, you know, like with that sort of attitude and that encouragement, I was more than excited to do it.
Oh, yeah, tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake. No, tell me why I never wanna get you say I want it that way. Before you bury it, listen, don't bring me beef. You can eat beef in mom's house. So to my friend, don't bring me beef. You can eat beef in mom's house.
The whole experience flying out to Inverness, not in Venus, Inverness, it was such an amazing experience. Personally, myself, I've never flown out for a shoot, so that experience alone was amazing. I really felt that, and I still do, felt that I was doing something that had a bigger meaning behind it.
Just like the boys in the film, we also went to Scotland and just lived there for the week. And the place we were staying at had no data, had some really bad Wi-Fi. So it was like we had nothing else to do but talk to each other, which was a good thing. I think that really helped the film actually, because our chemistry just went from here to here by the first night, because we were talking about all kinds of things during the night. We stayed up late the first night talking about girls, talking about life. It was good. And I feel like it really gave us a chance to disconnect from the busy sort of London life. Like when we were there, we were barely on our phones. Like we were just talking to each other and really just embracing nature. It was good. It was good. Also, we got a chance to walk around. So when we went filming, we could just go up the hills. We could do whatever we wanted. And that freedom was amazing. Like,
this story was an interesting one. I feel like each character was searching in themselves as well as searching in this area of Scotland where we had never been before. The process was even crazier because some of the people have never even left London before, have never even left the country, the city. It's crazy. And we went to Scotland and it was just, it opened our eyes to more of life. I feel like we learned a lot. We learned about each other. We became brothers in less than a week.
You know, being a city boy and being around London all the time and going all the way to Scotland, yeah, Inverness, and you're seeing mountains, lakes, clear water, you know, not River Thames, clear water that you're seeing. And you're seeing mountains, you're seeing, even the air just was different. The air quality was different over there. And it was just, yeah. You know, when you're planning something and you're excited, you're like, yeah, it's gonna be great. But then when you actually get to the place, then and you're taking everything in it, and you're actually there, and you're seeing it with your own eyes, and you're thinking, we're really doing this. We are really doing this. It was a different feeling because, you know, man don't do things like this. You'll see in the film, but them, you know, never being in that sort of environment, it was just really special to see the reactions and see how grateful they were. It was bigger than the film, just seeing how it impacted them. It was, yeah, it's deep. It's deep.
And when we wrapped, that was huge. That was huge because I think we all felt as though we were really embarking on something which hasn't been done before, maybe hasn't been done well, if it has been done before, or maybe hasn't really kind of been given the platform to really kind of celebrate Black culture within a specific or a different kind of setting. And it was just amazing to kind of be there and to be able to kind of celebrate what we were doing, how we were all part of this journey of becoming pioneers, and just being able to kind of develop as a group. I think there were definitely relationships that we built as a part of being on this particular path, this journey, which will stay with us for life.
I came to realize a lot about myself, about what I consider normal, and breaking boundaries in different places was really interesting to me. And yeah, I'm very thankful for the process because it allowed me to learn so much about life outside of this concrete jungle, like life outside of the ends, life outside of like London.
This might have an influence or might change the way some people think, because we have worked hard for what we did. The experience, like, I can't even tell you the experience. The experience is just mad, like flabbergasting. Like, whoa. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's amazing. Like,
I think after that moment, you're sort of looking back and you look at the week that we filmed, and not even just the filming aspect of it, but the social aspect as well. And meeting some amazing people, fantastically talented people, lovely, kind-hearted people as well. And I think everything together just made what the film, I think, is going to be. It's all those different factors come together, and that's what you need in order to create something beautiful, which I think this is definitely going to be.
I just think, I said this on the phone's like, I said this to my friend on the way back, that my experience on this film set has been completely different to anything I've experienced on a set, not even just because I've not done many, but also because it was a fully, like, the cast, to have a majority Black crew and cast, I was like, what? Because the energy was so much different.
this experience was amazing, man. It was wonderful. Couldn't ask for it. I couldn't ask for anything better. Like, honestly, it was so professional, but I felt so free, and as a creative, I could share my own ideas. I could talk to Leon like he was my pops, bro. Like, it was just amazing, honestly. We also shared a moment when we rapped, and I think about this to today, and honestly, I've never felt that type of atmosphere in my life. It brought me to tears, honestly. Like, it was crazy, because in that moment, it was a realization that, you know what, I am bigger than just the ends.
I can say that it was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my entire life, because I've never been able to work into a production team and being able to connect with so many people, like not just one person and just stick to that person. I'm talking the whole production team, every single person connected. It felt like a whole big family, and that was the most beautiful part of my experience with them.
It was emotional at the end of the rap. There were tears, there were opportunities for us to kind of learn and share each other's stories, and really kind of help and guide people through the process. I think also one of the beauties of this film is that a number of people, myself included, had never really been to the Scottish Highlands before. So the story was about kind of exposing people to new environments and seeing how things can be different to our everyday lives. And people were witnessing this in real life for the first time, and that was amazing as well. So yeah, it was a blessing to kind of be on this job. It's more than a job. It was a journey. It was an experience.
It felt very even playing field, that everyone was sort of connected to each other in a way that wasn't just for business. It was like a connection of community and spiritually, I think. And it just felt interesting to be in that environment, because I think the environments that I've been in have been largely not that. And so it was so like rooted and lovely and passionate, which like I felt that reading the script, but then also actually being in the environment, being in Inverness, filming and watching people doing their work. I was like, yo, this is actually super amazing what we're doing.
Bro, I've been through a lot in my life, and to be given this opportunity to be enjoying it with such an amazing group of people, I was literally lost for words. And I feel like us as black males never get to do that. I felt safe in the space.
You know, long 5 days, loads of different obstacles, you know, and we finished it. But I remember after our little rap party, went into one of the rooms, and I just see everyone in there, you know, most of the young cast. I saw them in there, and Leon was in there as well, and I just see everyone in, Musa was there as well. They were all in there, and you know, I felt a shift in the atmosphere when I entered that room. I was like, something's going on here. Everyone was in tears, man. Leon was in tears. All of the young people, the cast, were just sharing how they felt about just everything about, you know, the pressures of being black and a man or a young boy, and not having a father figure, and just how it affected them growing up, and what doing this film really meant for them. You know, I'm pretty sure everyone saw Leon as that, you know, that person that's like a father figure in your life, that, you know, they want the best for you, and they try their best to bring out the best in you. And just doing this film, you know, like I said, black boys in London coming out here filming a horror film, doing this. What? Getting flown out, staying in, what? Getting treated, getting fed, getting taken care of. Like, working with a director that's just allowing us to be who we are and bring the part of ourselves to the character and just be free and really tell the truth and just be us.
It was really an emotional experience coming out and doing what we did, you know. Haven't really seen it been done before. And we all just spoke about our experiences growing up in our own situations, but we could all relate to each other and each other's circumstances, you know, because we've all been there before. We've all been in those sort of situations. So we opened up to each other, really poured our hearts out. Like even tears were coming, you know, like grown men were all crying, and but the brotherhood was so beautiful and lovely. Like you had to be there to see the moment, to capture it. But I'll never forget that. It'll always be in my head, always, forever.
All of us opening up on a spiritual level, on an emotional level, about, I want to say, the trauma we've had as Black men. Now, I think if anyone said, one day you're going to have a conversation with a group of Black guys that you don't really know that well, and you're going to be in the room with them crying about your personal experiences, I would have said, yeah, you're having a bubble.
I just felt like everybody was super grateful to Leon to have created an environment, a story that represented so many aspects of our lives, but it didn't directly have a connection with anyone's particular story, but like everybody resonated with it. And I think I was just really grateful to have met everyone. Everybody was so amazing, like unique. And I know I'll remember this project for forever.
It's something I can always be proud of. Something that I can look back at and be like, rah, like a group of Black people came together and created such a wonderful film. That's what it means to me. I feel like it's going to be a statement in my career and a statement in history for everyone who watches it. I hope people get moved by this film, and this is just the start of a major diversity flip.
And it's, I loved every moment of it. I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. I actually wouldn't trade it. However this film comes out, it was the best set I've ever been on. I fell in love with all these people, and literally they're my family now, man. I feel like I can call them about anything. This is turning into a flipping romance film, bruv.
When we wrapped, what was going through my mind was just how much this experience has been etched into my heart and my mind and my soul forever. This is one of those projects, you know, as soon as we kind of started, I knew this was a special one. And when we finished, when we wrapped, it was sad because I felt, you know, we just created this massive bond between everybody, you know. And so it was really beautiful to be around that. And actually during the week, seeing the mindset change in the guys, and, you know, going from seeing double-decker buses every day to seeing deer and, you know, wild sheep and rabbits every day in this lovely place that we were in with the mountains and the streams and the lochs, you know, like seeing their mindset change and realize that the world is theirs for them to grab and take whenever they want was just outstanding, inspirational. For all of us to spread our wings and validate our experience and, you know, get a chance to grow within ourselves and get to know the most incredible people who I hope I'll always have in my lifetime, and also look forward to seeing everybody just their success increase, you know, because they all deserve it for sure. It's really a powerful project to have been a part of.
Listen, I'm looking a bit dead right now. 10-hour journey all the way out here. it's gonna be amazing, guys. I'm not even gonna say too much, but Leon, oh, the place is looking, yeah, it's different. It's different from your usual London settings, city settings. So yeah, can't wait for everyone to see this. We're gonna get
This right here is different experience, different gravy. Make sure you level up, cause you level up, level up to this experience, bro. Level up now, do it now. Level up, put in the work, put in the work, level up. You know we're making it to the top. We're making advance today. I told Broski, Netflix paper, then we got Sky TV on the way.